Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of, yes, Hearts of Iron 4. This is the World Ablaze mod, and we are playing as Italy, seeing how this mod handles the Italian viewpoint. Come on, load graphics. All right, well, good. Let's build a couple of these synthetic refineries. Those will probably come in useful at some point here. So let's get that going. We are currently almost all full up on fuel, but I think in the long run it will be useful. I know we're still just in 38. We have sure distracted the enemy to have a lot of forces down here. But we're going to be sending these guys. We got a... Wow. "14 divisions. Excuse me. One with Matilda tanks. Wow. Crusaders. More Matilda tank divisions. Yeah, that's going to be a bit difficult. So we're going to move these 4 divisions up to here, because we're going to see about doing a naval invasion there eventually. And we're still, of course, fighting here in there. Soldiers were worried about the pinging of the M1 Grant. Yes, they were. Pinging of M1 Grant. Man, it's so easy, Martin Smith, to distract me of things. Now, a lot of soldiers learned, you know, they knew about the pinging of the M1 Grant. And it does and it doesn't matter. And it can be helpful. It doesn't matter when you've got 10, you know, you got a squad of American soldiers. They're not all going to, like, if you have a, you know, if they're not panicking, they're not going to go all ping, 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 ping of the en-bloc clip pinging out when the gun goes empty, because some are going to ping out and the rest are going to have some rounds in their magazines still to shoot. So it doesn't really matter when you are in a group of soldiers so much. It is worrisome when you're sort of the single soldier or one of like 2 guys and they hear, you know, bang, 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 ping. Oh, he's out of ammo. So the other guy, you know, he can pop up with his bolt action rifle or pop up and throw a grenade knowing you can't shoot him. Now, it doesn't mean you necessarily have a good line of sight on the target, because it also tells him, I'm out of ammo. So, you know, you can duck down to reload it. So it matters there. Now, what a lot of soldiers in more experienced outfits would eventually do is carry an empty M-block clip. And whether it was squeezing it between their fingers or somehow like squeezing it on the receiver or something, make it ping off. So that the Germans, those are the main people they're fighting, a little bit of the Italians, but mostly the Germans, that it would ping off. And then they would go, he's out. And the guy would just be sitting there waiting for the enemy to pop up, and then bang, bang, take them out. So that's where it can be used. If you have an enemy that is experienced at fighting you and listening for that, you can trick him into a bad position. That can be done too. So yes, it is a concern. of the large-scale production weapons, small arms in World War II, non-crew served, so I'm talking rifles, pistols, submachine guns. Basically, the M1 Garand is the best weapon out there in World War II. Like, note I just say large production scale, because you're gonna have like the guy from Forgotten Weapons, Ian, was showing off his new modern manufacturer FG42 that he had just gotten on one of his videos. Damn lucky guy. Okay, the FG42 is a near a wonder weapon as well, and of course the Sturmgewehr, is starting to get into that mass production kind of thing. So that's it is. So maybe it's better, but worst, the M1 Garand is tying for mass production being the best. Have you seen the new game War on the Sea? It looks fairly good. No, I have not. I have not seen that yet, so I guess Arno has and likes it. Cool. Maybe I'll take it out. I'll take a look at it sometime. So maybe somebody mentioned it before. I have not checked it out yet. Okay. Let's see here. I don't care about a rocket scientist, theorist as Italy. So, Air, Navy, Chief of the Navy, Military High Command. Yeah, let's go for this because we have at least one mechanized unit currently fighting in Spain. Okay, so we have 24,000, so we should get some more units, the 4th International, in training, more infantry divisions. How are we doing? I know we're using up tanks and whatnot. Do we have any in production? Hmm? Huh? Do we not have any tanks in production? Wow. No, we do. The L3, okay. Why am I just missing it? Oh, here it is, light tank. Okay. Computing machine. No, I don't think we'll start another motorized or mechanized or armored division in training up now. Okay. We're still in 38, so we've got all the way across there. We're doing that one there. I guess we should see about better artillery options for us. Okay, so we're up here.
Pronto, signore.
Wow, we just don't have much in the way of good generals. Okay.
Comandi. Pronto.
Basic medicine, yay. We know how to do bandages now. What do you know? These all suck so badly. What the hell was Italy thinking about going into a world war? I mean, really, what the hell were they thinking about? Yeah, I want naval strike tactics. Nations don't always get to... Oh, we've cleared out that pocket. Okay. Come over to there. I think we'll come to this side of the river. Well, let's put you on trains. Let's get you there in a timely manner. Put you also on trains. You know, nations don't always get the choice about whether they go to war. Like, I know the Dutch really wanted to stay out of World War II, and won, of course. But they were unable to stay out of World War II. And so you don't always have that choice, and I totally get that. But Mussolini took the choice to go into the war. Now, there were many elements that knew that they couldn't meet the basic needs of the armed forces, as it were, in peacetime. And yeah, I know they were, you know, they entered the war as the Germans are entering okay, Libyan infrastructure. Well, I guess we'll start all that. You know, Germany was basically entering peace, or Paris, and so, you know, hey, the war's almost over, let me just get into it. But still, they knew the yeah, let's go with Pact of Steel. They knew the British were still in the war to a degree, and now I think they sort of kind of thought they'd pick up stuff in the Mediterranean from it, but still. Okay, you help that, you come to here. Maybe we can break this line. Okay, where is our air power here in... Nope, our air power's over here. So let's... You know, this game needs more air bases. I forget which king it was, but won the Munich Agreement. Very nice. One ancient Greek king went to the Oracle at Delphi, which I think is what, somewhere in here. Went to the Oracle and asked, what will happen if I go to war with this other? Oh, we need more coal. Okay. We need more coal. That will help us out, hopefully. If I go to war with this other ancient power. And the answer was, oh, the Germans are standing there looking pretty. No, that wasn't the answer. The answer was, a great kingdom will fall. And of course, that king took it to mean the enemy kingdom will fall. But his kingdom ended up falling because of the war. And this is something that you know, most people who govern us, at least in America, do not have the requisite education to govern us. I'm just sorry about that. And I'm not talking, oh, Democrats or one side or the other. I'm talking both. You know, Ted Cruz is one of the few, I would say. You don't have to like Ted Cruz personally. You don't have to like his policies. You can hate both of them. But he is well enough educated to govern us. I'm just impressed with some of this stuff he says at times. But, you know, Mussolini should know, I forget the you know, what is it, Epirus or whoever went in and asked that, to know that going into war, you don't know the outcome, even when it looks like, oh, hey, we've, you know, it's nearly over, we're just going to come in. Things can change, things can shift. Yeah, aerial mining, that might be cool. Okay, now, we went over to newer fighters, so these are our fighters, which we only have 3 factories here. We're going to go over to the newer model. Just get that. That's why we've sort of pushed ahead. And they need to be educated. They still will make bad decisions, because all leaders make bad decisions at some point. The better ones try to learn from them. Defending Bulgaria. German military cooperation landings. Yep, we'll do this. Because I'm of the belief that had Italy stayed neutral in World War II, it would have been a lot more beneficial for Germany than for it to go to war, to join the war. Because it could be a major friendly but neutral power to Germany, strong enough that France and Britain would not want to attack it. It could trade with the rest of the world, you know, the neutral world, and of course its own resources, and trade up into Germany with that. And it would be strong enough that they wouldn't want to add it to the mix. And of course that means, yeah, okay, if you defeat France, you may have to worry about the southern front down here, whether it's Vichy or not. But it sort of takes the whole Mediterranean out of the issue. And so that area can stay at peace. And you don't have to waste resources as Germany on it. Wow, the Germans are already down here. Are they going to do more than just stand around and look pretty once the war gets kicked off? We'll see, but how interesting. Maybe they pinged it off their helmets. Maybe that's what I remember about the M1 Garand. That could have been it. Can you send an attaché to Japan or China? That might be of interest. We have the points and they will accept. Good idea, Arna. Very good idea. That way we can see what's going on a little better. And then, okay, now our attachés will be sent where they please. So we can see what's going on here and get a little experience out of it. So basically Japan down here is more or less, there's 2 divisions there and a couple divisions there, down to sort of one division fronts along a lot of this, but up here they have a bunch more. But the communists are going to be, well, no, they're not even, this isn't even the communist yet. That is. So we'll see how this goes. I guess the Germans had a proper plan for North Africa taking Suez, Axis could kick the British. Oh, yes. Bevan Alexander, he is a strategic historian. I really like his work. Read several of his books. Okay, well, we're already sort of into December. I'm going to wait a little bit, just wait a few more days. We'll build up here so it won't hurt us. And he's very much, and I already had the thoughts of it, but he very much believes that Germany could have taken the Mediterranean, focused the second half of 40 and all of 1941, and taken the Mediterranean instead of going into the Soviet Union. And had they done that, it would have materially changed the outcome of the war. Not necessarily saying, oh, for sure Germany would have won the war or anything like that, but not having to garrison so much of the coastlines, done, you know, various naval operations, both air and surface fleet operations, but going after that. Because if you look at this here, you can shut down Gibraltar and presumably keeping Spain neutral. Sure, the Allies can land here. They did land here, but they also, when they did land here, they also landed at Algiers and Oran. So, but they couldn't do that if you held Gibraltar and had enough air power. They could land here. Now, fighting your way through these mountains here, the Atlas Mountains, is going to be a lot tougher, and it's something that Germany, along with the Italian backing them up, can probably hold, because yeah, there's significant port facilities and there's some railway here, but not much. There's no railway deep into here, so you're only going to do so much supplies, and you're sort of right here along for resupply yourself. You can base a lot of air power here, and it's sort of a narrow front, if you will. Now out here, yeah, you can get across this desert. You can come up the Tigris, but still that's a long sort of fight here. And if Germany can push into here, yeah, this really is a no-go for coming across here, and I don't know how much they want to fight in Iran. And if you push into here, this is going to be so much easier to hold these 3 points. You know, hold here somewhere, you know, down in here somewhere, and out here. That's going to be so different. I don't know that. I don't know that the U.S., because, okay, we're talking Germany here, not just Germany with backed up by Italy somewhat, if it's done right, not relying upon Italy to do it. So we're not talking about facing, you know, Italy versus America. If at the point of impact, you know, here, and somewhere, you know, here, wherever it would be, if at the point of impact, you can get roughly equal size of German forces and American forces, Germany can hold its own. And if we're talking about not having to supply too many other places in these sort of localized positions, they can sort of match the effective amount of munitions coming in, because you can only bring in so much munitions across here and across here to fight. It's not, the U.S. can outproduce them in munitions, but it's getting them to the battlefront. And if Germany can, especially once you secure here and you're threatening, if not actually pushing up this way into the Soviet Union when you attack on day one or very close thereafter, if you knock the Soviet Union out, it's going to be very hard for the US to successfully invade the European continent. So that materially changes what's going on with the war. There's still ways we can see that the US can win, absolutely, but it changes dramatically. So our goal here is, I don't know, well, we very well may, okay, a couple more days. Maybe able to try to do a naval invasion of Gibraltar and take it. And try to take out Suez. And see if we can land here in Alexandria and push down to here quick enough. That puts all of these guys out of supply. So if we just hold sort of Tobruk and keep them from capturing any other ports, even before we take Suez and or Gibraltar, we cut these guys off and they die. So that is a potentially significant outcome. Okay, January 1, get it, all the research at the best modifiers. By doing that, it's sort of as if all this had happened in 39 instead of happening some in 38 at a slower rate of research. Oh, okay. Okay, keep pushing, pushing. Maybe we'll race into Barcelona there. Anything materially change? Okay, well, there we go. We didn't even get a chance to get to Barcelona and they surrendered. So our expeditionary forces will be coming home. And then, okay, we'll no longer, well, by much, consuming. So let's look at another fast division. Well, it's, yeah, train one up. So location here in Genoa. Yeah, I guess that's reasonably all right for what we currently can produce. So I'm not really overly optimistic at pushing through this fortified line as Italy. I don't really care enough about it. That's just going to be there to hold. Military cooperation, aerial mine laying, treaty with Germany, well, research synthetic resources. Gee, well, let's see what Libyan refineries. Oh, let's do the refineries. So we're going to do what we can to, well, fickle Germany. Where did all of his forces that he sent down here go? integrated support. That's nice. Still researching that, but we want to come over here and improve our resource efficiencies.
Formazione.
Trade Czechoslovakia. Okay, you guys come to roads.
Formazione.
And we now have the dockyard here. Let's get those into production. Just do we really need more? Yeah, I guess. Okay. There we go. Balances things out a little bit better.
Comandi. Pronto.
Well, I think we need to continue to expand our air production. Yeah, let's also see about this is, hold it, pause. Outdated, yeah, but which one is which? Okay. This one here is 75, so that's probably the 75. 34 it is. It's going to upgrade that. Now this 100 is the heavier artillery. So I'm guessing it is the heavy artillery. Which is easier to this? Is this heavy artillery? I guess. Okay. Yeah. So got that. And close air support. I guess this is also close air support. Just gonna make sure least disruption. Okay, so now we're basically on the newest. You can see, well, that was a pretty heavy hit there. Oh no, damn it, 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 damn it. Load. Auto save. Oh, I click. This is why I hate the way some of this stuff works in Hearts of Iron 4. This game had so much fucking promise. My god, they just have to fuck everything up, don't they? Okay, so here, let's show outdated effing equipment. Okay, outdated equipment, 100. What is this? What? Okay, yes, it's outdated. Now cancel this. Cancel. But I'm hovering over here. Okay, where? Here. Well, I don't know. Okay, so this is 1, 2. Okay, yes, we can see these are all artillery. Okay, heavy artillery, heavy artillery. You see, I hover over this thing, it's just saying heavy artillery. Or just saying dated. Outdated. We already have some of these in production. So towards the I definitely see like anti-tank and anti-air, heavy artillery, but this is just saying outdated. Is this outdated? What the hell? So let me come over to research here. I wish this was just better organized. Okay, so these are okay. So the 117 is just regular artillery. Okay. Okay, see that's, and then this is the heavy artillery. All right. Hey, Matt Zualv? Matt Zualv? Okay, Soviets are the were caught up in technology. No, I wouldn't say so. No, the Soviets never caught up on technology, in my opinion. Not to the Germans, no. They, they made their technology that they did work effectively. That's what they did do. But they didn't catch up. Okay, so these are old artillery pieces. We're just going to leave those old artillery pieces in production. These are the newer artillery pieces standard. We're going to update them to the latest standard here. Okay, so mass numbers, keep those cranking. Higher quality units, keep that going. Okay, here we're going to come to here. We already got the better fighters. Keep those outdated. This is World Ablaze, and we're playing, yes, as Italy.
Pronto.
Somehow all these guys got under him. Fine.
Formazione.
Okay. Yes, formazione. Whatever the hell that means.
Ordini. Attento.
Well, should these all be under him? Yeah. God. I hate whoever picks this color palette for Paradox. Okay. Now we have him here with lots and lots of metals. Capability, Desert Fox. Okay. He got ground up pretty damn heavily in that Spanish War. Yeah, I understand a lot of people like playing the Soviet Union. Sure thing, Martin Smith. It means formation, yeah. Okay. What is this? Okay, it's that. It's the little bit of armor with infantry.
Avanzate! Ordini? Sì, signore.
No. These guys. Plan a naval invasion from here to here. So hopefully they can get ashore there when the time comes. These guys will come in afterwards once the landing has been made into Alexandria. Well, yeah, I understand. You don't like playing as Italy? I can understand many good reasons why it would be frustrating to do so. Okay, well now we can step down into here, I believe. Okay. Deep operations, recovery organization, encirclement, surplus heart attack, breakthrough, attack. Yep, I think that's the one we're gonna follow. There. Okay, air doctrine research speed, which we are in strategic destruction, so we don't want a theorist for operational integrity doctrine. Just air doctrine research speed. Okay, that's the one we will want to have. Oh yeah, I get the idea. Oops, to Albania. Yeah, we'll see about that. We're gonna do it. It's just sort of lower priority. Or no, but yeah, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier before you got here, that Italy was just not prepared for the Second World War and should not have voluntarily entered it. Basically, under no circumstance. Okay, I'm not saying we've got any great number of forces here. Okay, let's come here. Let's have blue. There we go. There we go. So we have the mountain guys under him. The rest. I guess we can move these guys to Albania. We want at least 3 units to cover the front with Greece. Okay, Libyan refineries, something that they didn't have. Okay, but nice for us to have. Oh yeah, no, well, yeah, no, we can't build a proper tank. I mean, we can build some tanks, and we're going to have some, but um, yeah, but I'm not even saying hindsight, because I was saying before is they knew they had all kinds of problems with equipping the Italian divisions prior to going into war. It's not even a hindsight kind of thing. Yeah, I like I said, I know they thought the war was almost over with France and Britain was probably going to do a deal and whatever. Yeah, sure, but still, they knew they weren't prepared for a real war. It's one thing to go after Albania and Ethiopia, and they were prepared for those type of things. But beyond that, not really. They just weren't prepared. Yeah, we can start conscripting more people. Let's add yeah, I don't know if it's worth that. Very interesting. Thanks, Ivanhoe. Yeah, no, I do know that the Italian Navy was the best branch of the armed forces effectively. But I also know they did not, they were too afraid to risk it. There's no, well, there's not a lot of good points in having a spending a, okay, yeah, this is how I should say it. There is not a good reason to spend a lot of money on a navy if you're unwilling to risk it. Okay, now there may be reasons to spend significant amount of money on a navy simply by going like, yeah, whether you keep it at Taranto or up at Naples here, Naples Harbor. I still remember that when I was traveling the first time in Europe on a little boat ride around Naples Harbor as part of the guided tour thing, seeing the U.S. Navy, a big chunk of the U.S. Navy in Naples Harbor. So I know that harbor can house a rather large Navy force. So to to have a naval force sitting here going, yeah, if I see an invasion fleet heading for Rome or some other important spot, I will send out my fleet and battle your fleet. So don't you do it, kind of thing. Okay, you can build a navy like that. You don't have to spend huge amounts of money building a navy battle. Notice Germany has already moved in submarines into the Mediterranean. So you can, and also up here. Interesting, the AI is doing it. Hey, call me. So that you can build something of a navy to go, hey, if you try to do a naval invasion, I'm going to do something about that. Okay, that's one thing. But to put your primary emphasis of your military spending, it's maybe not quite that extensive, but it's very significant within fascist Italy, is the buildup of the Navy. To go that route and then being unwilling to risk it in a high seas battle for the control of the Mediterranean, It's just not the thing to do, because and I understand this is what you got to sort of look at from the mindset of, and I don't know who was making, I just don't know enough about Italy in World War II to really talk intelligently on some of these topics, but I don't know who was making the decisions on naval operations, whether that was Mussolini or some admiral. I really don't know. But I get the idea that when a big ship sinks, it's going to take years, probably multiple years to replace, and it's going to be expensive to replace. I get that. Where if you lose a bunch of aircraft, they're not going to take years to replace the next aircraft. Now, it depends on how many aircraft you're going to lose, and you can, it might take a long time to rebuild a couple hundred aircraft, but they're, multiple things. They're not going to take as long, and individually they're not as expensive. So I get that. And big ships are expensive. And they take a long time to make. So like, hey, yeah, 2 years from now, I want a ship. This is one thing these games are woefully inadequate on doing, because most players go, oh, damn it, I just had my fleet sunk. I better build a replacement. What? It's going to take 2 years to get more ships? And they're not thinking like, well, 2 years, hell, I'll win the war in a year, so I'm not going to build any ships. They just don't think in the terms that you have to for proper Navy. And it's really only the U.S. that brings it up faster than that. I'm talking for like capital ships, and they get it's sort of a miracle builds, basically, and it's only rarely that they actually sort of do it in 30 days for a Liberty ship. But there it's probably often more like 90 days or something. But even then, that's sort of a deceptive element. So, wow, another 50 subs up here. Man, Gamer's about ready to have a fucking meltdown here. Okay, but try to keep away from the meltdown maybe, but I know it's entertaining for some. And so, so what, if you like, and as Ivanhoe was saying, you really couldn't replace the losses. Well, Britain can't either. And they can do it better than most other nations, not all other nations, but most other nations. But they realize to control the seas, they have to be willing to engage the enemy in battle. And they lose the hood. Going in surface fleets was going after the Bismarck. They lose ships. They're willing to lose ships. The U.S. is willing to lose ships. Japan is willing to lose ships. Germany is not willing to lose ships. That's why they give these ridiculous orders. Go out, sail around, sink some enemy convoys, but don't you risk your ship in battle. Run away from the enemy if there's a real threat. Sort of, they risk it once in World War I significantly with the Jutland, or Jutland, however you want to say it, Battle of Jutland. But thanks for following the channel. So, it's that kind of thing that Britain, and I think France to a degree, and definitely America and definitely Japan, are willing to risk their fleets in action. And the only ones that in the middle of wartime can readily rebuild their fleet is the Americans. But the British and the Japanese are willing to risk it because that's what they built it for. They didn't build it to just sit around and harbor. Italy builds a fleet. What are they thinking? Literally. Yeah, what are they, what are the Italian, is it just the Italian naval guys are going, I'd like to be a captain of a ship, and another one's going, I'd like to be a fleet admiral, and we can only do that if we have ships to be captains of and fleet and admirals of. But oh God, no, I'm never going into combat. This thing is too fucking precious to risk getting paint scratched on it, because then I won't be an admiral anymore. Because if I have my fleet shot at an enemy. And what are the political leaders who are funding these things thinking? Mostly fascists at this point. Why are they building this fleet? Is it just purely, man, if we sail these big ships around, everybody's going to think, ooh, Italy's cool. It's got battleships. It's powerful. I mean, is that, but oh God, we can't, war? Oh, if there's a war, we're locking these up in the closet and putting them away. We aren't going to use them in no war. War, hell no. I mean, is that what they're thinking when they're spending all this money at building these things? You build a navy, unless you're the Americans or the British, which are global navies at the times when they're being built. Not anymore for the British, but back in the day. You build a navy to fight everywhere for them. Everybody else, build a navy to fight in the environment that you're going to be in. And so Italy is not building a navy to fight in the Pacific. I mean, it might get ticked off at Siam because Siam impounds, they swim out in some rowboats and impound some Italian, merchant vessels, and Italy goes, shakes their fist. No, you got to free our sailors and our ships, and realize, okay, we got to somehow get some ships out here to beat up on Siam or something like that. Yeah, that might happen. But that's not what they're building the Navy for. They're building the Navy is to operate in the Mediterranean. So they don't need to be able to leave Britain and sail up and down the U.S. West Coast bombarding West Coast ports. Isn't that like War Plan Orange or something like that for Britain? If they went in the 1920s, went to war with the U.S., they were making plans for all kinds of things. Not that I don't think they thought it was likely to happen, but just making plans. So they don't need to operate this far away from it. They just need to operate in here. Okay, that's all they're doing. That's all they're building a navy for. So look at where you're going to fight. Okay. So, well, you have these immobile aircraft carriers, islands, once you get Albania, but around here, and you got Rhodes and a couple of little junky islands out here. So you got air power. You can build submarines. You can build cruisers. And if the enemy big battle fleet of 12 big battleships with their big, I don't know what they would be, 12-inch, 14-inch, it's the Americans end up with 16-inch and the Japanese end up with 18-inch guns. But, whatever, 12 big battleships coming towards us. Just get a bunch of aircraft and go bomb them. I mean, my God, you got a lot of light cruisers. You go, oh, there's the enemy ships. Send out the radio message of where those ships are and run away. And just have the air bombers come in and bomb them. I mean, really, you're building a navy to fight in the Mediterranean. Okay? And this is the age of the aircraft. And Italy is one of the premier builders of seaplanes. They for years until the guy who what's his name, who builds the Spitfire or designs the Spitfire, finally comes and takes the trophies away from Italy, sending down for Supermarine. That's why the Supermarine Spitfire comes out of Supermarine, because it was a marine seaplane aviation company that was designing it. I mean, it ends up not, the Spitfire is not a marine aviation, but that's why it's Supermarine. I'm forgetting his name. But the Italians are leading edge in the 1920s and the early 1930s on seaplane racing. It's a big sport that they push, and so they're doing great engines, they're doing great designs for this operation, and it really isn't until I'm blanking on his name, comes along and takes some of the trophies away from them. And so they know what this air power, they know what it can do, but they build this navy that they're not going to use because they're too afraid of it sinking. Now, Okay. But you don't necessarily just throw the Navy away by, oh, there's enemy ships out there, let's go fight them. No, you have a plan. What are you going to do that's worth sinking your ships and going into combat? We're going to charge out here, control this part of the Mediterranean, and we're going to naval invade Egypt. Okay. So even if you, as long as you don't lose, even if you're, because the British mindset is, we don't really care. I mean, they care, but we're willing to have our fleet on the bottom of the ocean floor so long as we win the naval battle that puts it there, meaning both sides can go down, because then after we do that and sink your big fleet, we're going to be able to, with all of our small vessels and all of our merchant marine, run our ships all over the oceans. So even if you sink our big fleet, I mean, they care, but they're willing to have it sunk so long as we're victorious and equally sinking the enemy fleet. Okay, you can sink our fleet so long as we get to sink your fleet, because in essence we sort of have two fleets, because we'll still have a second fleet left because we build two of them, basically, for Britain. And so even if our fleet sinks, we'll end up controlling the ocean. So they're willing to do that. So Italy should have goals in mind to go, we're going to war, we're going to go to the battle, even if our fleet sinks, so long as our naval invasion is, successful, we're good. I mean, we're not happy, but we're good. We've landed, we've done it, we've won. Okay? If they have that kind of mindset, fine, good, have it, use it. Otherwise, don't go building a big fleet, spending all that money on it, because you don't need to. Okay, you don't need to do so. Now, we're going to go on a relatively short rant here, and I want to say up front, I think Uncharted, I sort of is a bit of a friend in an internet sort of way. He's the primary maker of this mod. This is a relatively good mod, shall we say. But we're going to say right now, this mod sucks. Now, it may be just it sucks less than a bunch of other mods out there. Okay. But this mod sucks. It just does. What the fuck? We've got 50 German submarines here. What the fuck? We got 58 German submarines over here. We've got 10 here. Another 10 here. What the ever-living hell is this? That's what, 100, almost 130 submarines. And what did Germany wish they had starting at World War II? It was like 100 submarine fleet. They had like 30 submarines. Okay, and Uncharted is with me in trying to make a historically realistic game, okay? Yeah, run away. Gamer's meltdown is coming. So how, in April 39, how does Germany have the resources to build that many submarines? Now, I can hear you saying, well, maybe the AI didn't build, the Graf Spee and the Bismarck and the Tirpitz and the Gneisenau and the Scharnhorst and whatever, that they were sort of either they started before 1936 and were still building, not completed by 36, but started building in 36, or were built. Maybe they've refocused that. But really, Really? Ah. Especially now we're looking at here when I'm playing as Italy. This is what's the real problem um, is with Hearts of Iron generally is inflation. Inflation. Oh yeah, I'm Britain and I have 200 divisions or something. And you can look at some of multiplayer, or I've got 50 divisions or whatever the hell. How can anybody tell me approximately how many divisions the U.S. sent overseas in World War II? I'm sort of saying is that not the divisions that were sort of maintained only at home, but sent overseas at World War II. Can anybody guess? Arno, give a guess if you can't answer, just so somebody gives a guess. If nobody knows, just give a guess of how many divisions the great and all-powerful United States Army sent overseas. And this is both the European theater, the Pacific theater, everywhere in the world. Okay, Call Me really doesn't know. That's fine. I want Arno to at least guess. He's moderator here, and if he's hearing, just make a guess. Around 30. Okay, that's a guess. Yeah. Around 30 divisions is what he's saying. Anybody else have a guess? LP? I don't, unless that's supposed to be sticking your tongue out. I don't know what that is. Martin? Okay, the 10. Okay. No, the U.S. during World War II decided its maximum deployed number of divisions was going to be 100. Okay, so that is the maximum the U.S. Yeah, but 100 divisions the U.S. sent out. Why 100? What was the reason for the size of 100 divisions? It was because of shipping. They believed that they could only effectively maintain in the field, properly equipped, 100 divisions with the shippings that they had available. Not that they couldn't raise more units. Not that they couldn't make more rifles and tanks. Not that there weren't more men to train up to send into the meat grinder of war. They just looked around and go, we can only supply 100 divisions around the world, because you got to understand, when Britain is fighting in Burma, the soldiers, they're getting a lot of their food from India. Because partially it's the Indian Army, partially it's the British Army in India, out here. Those are two different things. The Indian Army and the British Army in India. Those are two different organizations. But they're also having the Ishapur. I'm not sure where, is it over here? I don't know where Ishapur is in India. You have the Ishapur Arsenal, which makes rifles, like the Enfield rifle. It makes a Vickers machine gun that's very much like a Bren gun. Just generally it looks the same, but it's mechanically different. They just went through a different, same caliber, went through a different process of choosing the design and went with the Vickers. So it's a small arms manufacturer in Ishapur Arsenal, plus they also make ammunition. So they're making ammunition and rifles locally. They're getting a lot of their food locally. The U.S. soldiers here, I'm sure, did pick up local food. I'm sure it did. But the plan was, and basically what was happening, and the food gets diverted to other things, was the soldier here, here on the edge of Burma, or once they go into the Burma theater, is being supplied from here, or here, or here. His food is coming from here. It is being, whether it's turned into like C rations and K rations that you're sort of used to hearing from in the movies, or whether it's refrigerated beef, or just simply whether it's flour or it's wheat. It's being grown out here in the middle of America and sent to Burma. Plus, they're sending all the Lend-Lease and other supplies to here. And so they're doing a lot of other shipping. So it's the shipping capacity, the literal ships, plus the, you know, port facilities and all that auxiliary ability to move around. So the, you know, and obviously they're sending lots of supplies into Iran that go into Russia. They're sending supplies coming this way to going into Russia, and they're flying in supplies coming this way going into Russia. Yeah, you know, they're doing all kinds of stuff, supplying other nations, including Britain. But for the U.S., wherever you're going in the world, basically they're being supplied out of the middle of America to some degree. Okay, their ammunition's being made here. So everything is being globally transmitted. So they decide that 100 divisions is as much as they want to do. Okay. Now, what we have in this game is not necessarily or mostly not the situation of, and this is part of the reason yeah, gamers having a meltdown here. Hope you're enjoying this. I once counted the number of provinces territorial squares, whatever you want to call these, in the Netherlands, in Hearts of Iron 3 and Hearts of Iron 4. There was approximately one half the number that there was in Hearts of Iron 4 than there were in Hearts of Iron 3. Now, they will tell you that that is because, one, the sort of computing power, dealing with the AI, dealing with all of the processes, that the more provinces you put, because I know they sort of have a max number, at least in Hearts of Iron 3, max number of provinces you can have in the game. And they will tell you as well, down here in Africa, and down here in South America, in Hearts of Iron 3, the provinces are ridiculously big, and they're just not done that well. So, and they probably have doubled or more the number of, you know, territories or provinces, whatever you want to call them, in like South America. So now, if you invade South America, it's better. Okay. Now, how much invasions happened in South America during World War II? 0. How many in the Netherlands? Well, at least 2 major ones, you know, the German invasion and the American coming back. Okay, so there were lots and lots of battles fought in the Netherlands. There was no battles fought in South America. Where's your priorities at, people? Now, I think the real reason is that they reduced the number of provinces. So, and when you reduce the number of provinces, why don't you just have this as one province? You just have one big stack of army troops, attack one other big stack of army troops. Paradox does that really well. But there's no strategy to it. Just, Army Corps 10, attack Army Corps 8, you know, German Army Corps 10, attack Dutch Army Corps 8, or whatever. There's no strategy. There's no tactics. There's no strategy. Just blop. Okay. Because their AI fucking sucks so badly that the AI will go, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 border provinces. So I've got to stick 1 man in each of them. So I got to at least have 6 men. So if we double that to 12, I've got to have 12 divisions. I really think so the tactics really change. So the AI is just so fucking bad, and it really is fucking bad still to this day, that they can't think of, if I put 1 guy here, 1 guy here, and 1 guy here, and maybe 1 guy there, I can get away with 4 divisions holding the Netherlands. Or, you know, maybe here, here, and here, and here. You know, the AI can't be smart enough to think, this is going to be much better defending here. We have this fortification here. We have this fortification here. Maybe we can hold in this swamp here. They can't even that's just so simplistic of an AI. I mean, we're talking dumber than, you know, doorknob or something, figuring out, my main, my main strategic objectives is my capital, sort of Rotterdam, The Hague, some industry over in here. So yeah, let's defend these 2 areas for these industry, and we're just going to have to give up all of here, but maybe we'll just hold this province here. So the AI can't even think to this level of, I'm not talking about being Patton or Montgomery or Zhukov or whoever the hell. They can't even come up with basic things. So the idea of, well, we've got 8 divisions. Let's stick them, 2 in each of these spots. No, but if we have 12 provinces and 8 divisions, well, what do we do? Because we're going to have a gap of four provinces aren't going to have divisions because we're too stupid of an AI. So I get the idea of what they, of course, could do is have the Dutch divisions be, in essence, brigades, weak units. But even when they're not weak units, we have inflation of divisions and sizes of orders to hold the Dutch border against 200 were needed to support. That would have been the whole Dutch army. Right. And so, and because we know, and I know Arno's smart enough to know this too, that if you're trying to equally hold all these provinces, Germany only has to concentrate on one province here, just put a, small enough force, just enough force to sort of keep these guys in place along here, concentrate their forces and just, charge into the center and, blossom out and punch through it, because you can always overwhelm in one location. So you don't want to hold the whole border. You want to hold, effective spots. And so, it doesn't take, it takes somebody with the intelligence level of an idiot or less to figure out some of that basic things. And they can't come up with an AI that does it. Now, of course, I know people over at Slytherin that can come up with an AI that does it. So and they tell me, oh, well, we want a smarter AI. Oh, well, why can't you just do a battle plan AI that they'll figure out that, yeah, well, that, once the player figures out how to come around it, we want a more dynamic, smarter AI, which they can't do. I mean, that's what they told me, but they can't do it. Okay. So, again, this mod sucks. Now, it may suck the least of all mods, but it still sucks. That somehow Germany, that's the AI Germany, that's supposed to be following, because, again, Uncharted, and I agree with his thinking, is trying to make a historically based mod here. Well, historically, they didn't have anything like these submarines. This number of stuff. Now, why is it all sitting down here in the Mediterranean, all down in the Mediterranean? Huh? What? And he supposedly, I don't know if he's worked on naval AI. He may have. But he is working on the combat AI for ground troops. I know he's doing that. And I think it's somewhat improved. And we can also see here, yeah, that's sort of like Montgomery at his height. How is Britain finding all these units to put here? What did we figure? 6, 8, 14 divisions sitting out in the desert here. And all of these sitting around here. And we don't know how many are at home here, but presumably they're at home. Where are they finding all these divisions? Now, what is also sort of upsetting me, and after this rant, we're going to end the episode here, is this. We're making 1.2 aircraft a week. We're making 1.6 of these, and out of this number of factories. Now, it's not necessarily 2 big, huge factories. These are abstracted. But really? Now, so we have 89, why am I unable to build a freaking Air Force that's anything like realistic? I don't have huge numbers of Air Forces sitting back here. I do have a few units, yeah. Got some units, definitely. But what's going on? Oh, you guys aren't stop operating. Yeah, back to standby. So no, just oh well, whatever. So what is wrong with this? I don't know. Yeah, gamer lost it. Looking at subs and going, how the hell? Because at first I thought it was like, oh, cute. They put down like 10 or 20 submarines to operate in the Mediterranean, which is actually sort of smart. And it's a tactic I use as a human to sort of like do convoy raiding down here a bit. And it works. And, you know, when Italy is neutral, send, you know, sort of like I'm sort of figuring the idea that they sneakily are in, you know, hidden in ports that they don't sort of admit to being there. They come out of the sea in some sort of, you know, sectioned off part of the harbor that no one can really see. They don't ever fly any German flags. They just, you know, they don't have any markings on the submarines. They don't talk to anybody but a few approved people, and they get resupplied and they keep going in and out, and nobody admits that there's German submarines operating secretly out of Italy, you know. And would Britain and France have gone to war over that? Maybe, but not Britain alone. But, you know, now once Germany's in, or Italy's in the war with Germany, well then, yeah, they'd be operating. But to dump 130 some submarines in the Mediterranean when they really should be out here, because they're going to get cut off from here once that gets shut down. It's more like a what if Germany had more subs. Yes, absolutely, Arno. You should try the total. Oh, hello, Oli. You ought to take a look at my playthrough of the Total War mod and see some truly epic rants of hatred for that mod. Maybe it's improved since then, but I have some truly epic rants of hatred for that mod. How you doing? Nothing personal on that, but I have tried it. It just drives me up the wall even more than this is. Because like I say, this is probably my second favorite mod for Hearts of Iron 4, but it still sucks. So, yeah. No, this is it. Okay, well, this is going to be it for this episode. We're going to keep the live stream going, but for this episode, this will be it. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for liking. And yeah, sorry, Uncharted, if you ever watch this. Some things that I just go, what the hell's going on? I don't mean to just slam you. Like I say, this sucks, but may suck some of the least of all mods, so maybe that's good to hear. I don't know. So see you guys next time.